Hello and welcome to the third episode of Offerings, an interview and mix series focusing on creativity within electronic music. My guest today is an artist hailing from London who produces and performs under the name Otus. How's it going, mate?
Yeah, good. Thanks, for you.
Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you. Yeah, thank you for coming down. Just to kick off, for those who don't know you, briefly just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Cool. So I'm South London based DJ producer. I'd say, even though it's kind of 50-50, producing is definitely kind of my main focus.
Yeah.
DJ is just kind of the way I perform.
Okay.
But I think my sound's developed a lot, but at the moment I'm kind of focused on the UK garage, UK bass kind of scene. And I'm very heavily focused on analog bass productions. Yes, I've had a bunch of releases out this year. Got some more collaboration EPs coming out. Also throwing an event series recently.
Yeah.
So kickstarted that kind of last year properly.
Sick.
And then I perform and DJ in and around London.
Sick, man. Yeah, I want to get into all of that, but a place I've been starting with all of the artists who've come on so far is talking a little bit about your earlier memories in music and how that influenced your journey, how that sort of put you on a certain path. So talk to me about some of your earliest memories in music. Talk to me about some of the earliest memories you have in music, basically.
I guess you mean any experience
in general, before you started producing or DJing.
Yeah.
What
I think my earliest memories for sure is my dad is massively into hi-fi.
Yeah.
Big hi-fi head, loves vinyl. I think growing up, we're just always surrounded by that, and he'd always it wasn't necessarily a music room, but we called it the music room because it had his hi-fi in, and we used to just spend it every Friday evening. We'd go, when Dad come back from work, we'd have they'd get drinks out, and we'd all just dance and listen to music.
That's sick.
Yeah, no, it was wicked. It was amazing.
Your own little club in your house.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, but he's a big fan of I think my first proper. I remember first instance of being obsessed with Mr. Price by the Killers or something. But the first proper moment where I was like, wow, what is this? Was my dad playing Jimi Hendrix through the hi-fi and just being like, this is crazy.
That's sick.
And him really telling me the backstory of who he was. And I think that kind of love for high quality sound and analog definitely shaped a lot of how I approach making music and
Yeah, it kind of touches on the question I was going to ask next, which was, how do you think those earlier memories led into trying your hand at DJing and production? But it seems quite obvious, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's funny because I got into DJing when I was 20. Yeah. So a bit later on, I was studying guitar at university and I switched to music production and a lot of I think in terms of DJ and producing, if I had to look back at it, it would definitely be, as I said, kind of love for analog and high quality sound.
Yeah.
And I think that's when I was first getting into making electronic music, my dad definitely instilled in me that kind of idea of quality analog sound with synthesizers. He used to, even though he doesn't know how to play an instrument, he's he's an engineer, so he's very technical.
Yeah.
And he loves things that are well crafted and well made. So
yeah.
Things like Moog synthesizers and stuff, he knew about it, even though he'd never touched one. He just understood the quality of them. And I think that definitely played a huge part in my kind of obsession with sound design and creating.
That sort of mindset or approach lends itself really nicely to production because you can find yourself with minimal tweaking all the time. And
you get obsessed with that's what I mean. He's obsessed with the kind of amplifier, the hi-fi, everything. So I think my kind of obsession with sound design definitely came from that.
Yeah, amazing. Do you reckon, that was the sort of the early thing which sort of you latched onto?
Yeah, I didn't even really think about it, but looking back, definitely,
Sick, man. Thinking on the opposite side of, what you latched onto, were there any sort of obstacles you had to overcome? Were there any things you found difficult to navigate when you first started out producing?
I Obstacles, I guess obstacles in terms of like when I first started making electronic music. I think because I was always making music when I was in a band and stuff, and I actually fell in love more with just making the music rather than like performing. Or like I fell in love with the composition of building a track, rather than like songwriting, like sitting there with a guitar. So I think when I got round to making electronic music, I think it was very much like how. I guess the quality, getting that quality, the high quality sound is like, just takes years and years of practice and learning different things and understanding how to shape sound.
Yeah.
I'm still, you hear producers like Joy Orbison's latest track, like you still hear him developing like just that sound design. And I don't think that stops, but initially it's like how, like I think drums definitely was like the first thing I was like, how do I make this sound good? Like this sounds awful.
Yeah.
I think obstacles like I guess when you think about obstacles, I don't know. I don't really think I had any obstacles when I was first producing. It was just more like trying to learn and understand things.
It's a very different world from playing in a band, because I feel like playing in bands you have a certain freedom to fuck up, and
100%. Yeah,
you know, you don't really, especially if you're like starting out in like lower quality bars or whatever. Because you already know going into that, okay, it's not going to be perfect. You know, you can just focus on the music. Whereas the production side of things is, you know, you can be in a room on your own and like have the whole night to be like, oh, how do I like mess about with that, you know? Yeah,
I think perfectionism is definitely something.
Yeah.
I think also as well, I guess the main obstacle as well is when people are making an electronic or just music that's designed for a club space is like the sound system is going to be so loud.
Yeah.
And especially the subs and the low end, like trying to get that marriage right.
Yeah.
That technique just takes years and years to perfect. And I still get help with that because it's like there's some people I know who have the right setup and sound system and acoustically treated space that I can just trust them so that I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'm just never, always going to be stressing about that.
Well, equipment's a massive thing, isn't it?
Equipment's definitely a massive thing.
So, you know, speaking about all of this, when you look back now, what do you think an area of development is that you're most proud of?
I guess from the get-go, one of the things I was really striving for was to try and have like a signature sound, something like really unique.
Yeah.
And I guess that's probably the thing I'm most proud of. Like, I would like to hope that like you can hear my track and just know it's my track.
Yeah, for sure.
To do, and that's been a lot of like experimenting, obviously taking influence from different producers, but a lot of experimenting with I guess like where I feel like my strengths lies definitely within the kind of percussion and building textures within drums and utilizing analog synthesizing hardware to like actually make hi-hats and stuff and creating different rhythms and textures within that.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing I'm most proud of. I like to think that I get quite bored of making just like the same genre. So I always need something different to inspire me. But I think within that, to be able to do that, to jump between genres and still be like, hopefully that's an Otus track. Do you know what I mean?
I love that. I think that's really cool. I do want to speak. I mean, we can speak about it now. To be honest, we're going to speak about it later. About this idea of building an identity. I suppose, what do you reckon are the most important components of that?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually.
I think it's complex because I think it's sometimes it's tools and equipment. Sometimes it's your personal like influences. Like I think it can be any one of like 10 things. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
definitely. It's I think it's definitely interesting because you can hear some artists and like you can hear where they've got their influences from. But I've even had it before where like one of my some of my favorite productions have been like LCD Sound System.
Yeah.
I like the dry analog modular drums and that. And like there's so many different things that I guess I don't even really think about what creates like what guides people to a certain sound. But I think definitely the kind of aesthetics of a sound is like your selection of tools and equipment and samples.
Yeah.
And I think Yeah, but also people like, so I work closely with Lawrence Hart, and I think he's he's like an incredible musician, and like you can hear it's Lawrence Hart because of the chords he uses.
Yeah,
he has certain chord phrasings that you're like, that's a Lawrence Hart
the
track.
theory comes into it.
Yeah,
as well,
exactly. So there's so many different factors, but I think artists definitely have like certain. They kind of focus and pinpoint certain things. So for me, it's kind of sound design. That's like my thing.
Yeah.
But for Duncan, Lawrence Hart is like chords. That's his main focus.
Yeah, sick.
So yeah, I guess it just, yeah, again, it's a tough one. There's so many different
Jump
factors.
from artist to artist.
Yeah, everyone has their different ways of doing things. Yeah.
Exactly. Outside of producing and performing under Otus, you've also got a couple of other projects I want to talk about. The first one is London Sound.
Yeah.
Can you just tell me a bit about it and the motivation behind it?
Yeah, so excuse me. London Sound came about. Basically, I met these two guys called Mike and Henry, and they work in different industries. I think finance and consultancy. Mike had thrown big festivals before with like kind of mainly drum and bass, jungle focus, so like Artful Dodger and stuff.
Yeah.
And I met them, and they're like, "We want to throw an event." I was like, "Okay, cool." They're like, "Do you want to get involved?" I was like, "Okay, like let's talk, see what your kind of ideas are." And they'd already done like a few tester events and stuff. And then I kind of came on as consultant's the right word, but like kind of to use my networking connections and experience in the industry to try and streamline it and make the event work. But then when we all sat down, we were kind of like, I think Mike came up with the name London Sound. He's like an old school garage head. He loved the whole idea of like London, like what that is. So, but we sat down and I was like, okay, what are we trying to do here that's different? And what is London Sound? What does it mean? Like you can't just, we can just throw a party if you want, but like, let's try and do something different here. And Mike led it by saying he wanted to do something in unique spaces. That was his main premise of what he wanted to do. So I remember him showing me some crazy spaces, like one of Brunel's water tunnels. I can't remember where it is. It's crazy. It's just like this circular round tunnel.
Really?
Like this vertical tunnel thing.
So what, the water like is like an aquarium?
Yeah, I guess it used to just be a water tank back in the day underground or something, but it's a space now you can throw. I don't know. We never got to the point of asking them if we could throw a rave there. I'm not sure if they would allow that, but do you know what I mean? They had that was a kind of premise of like, oh, look at these amazing spaces.
Yeah.
But I think going back to like we deciphered what London Sound would stand for and mean is just like we wanted to display I think the depth and diversity that London has in its like culture and music, because I know a lot of people agree with me here. I think it's one of the best scenes in the world. Yeah, exactly. Culturally and musically, like just it's so vibrant.
Definitely agree.
And also not only that, but like just if you look at the genres that have maybe it doesn't have necessarily STEM, but have like really grown in London, is like garage, jungle, grime, UK rap, like the UK jazz scene at the moment. There's like so many genres that I feel like we're representing the best of in such a like small space. So the kind of premise around that was like, why don't we build events that have like different genres within the lineup? Like, why does it just have to be a garage night? Like, why does it just have to be a jungle night? The first event was we were really just trying to build our brand, but we still tried to create a bit of diversity within the lineup. We had people like 1-800 Girls and Camille Blush and All My Days, and I went back to back with Nadi. And that went really well. And then the part 4 we did earlier this year, we managed to bring like Ronnie Size and DJ Q and Jay Cardo, and then people like Ariane V, she's wicked and like plays a lot of like kind of underground old school house and acid and stuff. So that was great because so I think some partners were a bit confused when they rocked up to see Ronnie Size and they're like, why are people playing house music? But for the rest of the party, I think people really appreciated it and enjoyed it.
Well, I think it's a really good idea, and I find it really interesting because, you know, I reckon after a few more events and people get the idea, you'll have people turning up who are just open to it, right? And
yeah, definitely that's the hope.
You're breaking the sort of structure of like, okay, I'm going to throw like a drum and bass party, like that's cool, but this way is, I don't know, I feel like one of the big things that might happen is like the type of audience you'll attract. Yeah, will definitely be a really open-minded audience.
Yeah, definitely. Like if you look at the festival, like I was just at We Out Here last weekend, and like just the range of genres and music is just amazing. But like everyone there loved it because it's like they love music. I think proper music love like heads and people who appreciate music aren't restricted to one genre or scene.
Yeah, they're not that closed-minded.
No, they just love good music, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's a really cool idea, man. You've sort of touched on it a little bit there, but I suppose it becomes a little bit more complex being you're not set on certain genres or anything. So what's the thought process or the sort of considerations that you make when you're What's the thought process and the considerations that you're making when you're curating a lineup?
Yeah, this is I think you have there's kind of two different sides of like what you look at as a promoter in terms of energy and just general vibe. And then to like, we also need to sell tickets. Yeah. So it's a tricky balance. And I guess you also want like, I guess what we were also trying to do is have some kind of cohesion throughout the lineup. But I think like Mike and Henry and all of us were like, we knew like what kind of headliners we wanted. Like we'd love to have got like Caliber as someone we'd love to get as like a headliner and then build kind of the lineup around that, have loads of different garage, house, whatever. Yeah. So like Ronnie Size and DJ Q, that we felt like there's some like cool like, legends, like that's the good staple to build the rest of the lineup around. And then from that,
sorry to jump in. So you try and like grab, pivot, so to speak, like sort of like a central piece, and then like branch off that way.
Yeah, exactly. It's tricky when you're first starting out because you're like also we're doing it in spaces that no one's ever heard before. So you approach artists or booking agents and they're like, okay, cool, but like what's the venue? Like they're like, never heard of it. So they're a bit like confused, and we found it quite difficult to try and land people. Luckily Ronnie Sides was game for it. We're like, great, let's go. And I think also people like Ronnie Size is it's like, well, I feel like if you saw Ronnie Size on like a festival line, it'd be like, oh, let's go see Ronnie Size. Yeah. And like I know some people wouldn't just specifically go to see Ronnie Size because there might not be like a jungle drum and bass head, but if you saw him on a lineup with a bunch of other people, you'd be like, oh, let's go see him. Yeah. So we thought, okay, cool, let's build the rest of the lineup around that. And then we got DJ Q involved, which is great. He's amazing DJ. And then this is when I kind of used a lot of like the DJs I knew in my community to be like, okay, let's build. I also like I was saying to the guys, like, it's really important here, if we want to build something that's like substantial, is like we have to build a community. Yeah. So like what I was trying to do is like, I knew like a lot of DJs I know, there's a certain community around like all the Rinse FM residents and like all the people. I knew, for instance, if we had like Jay Carter and Koji and Ariane V, that like a lot of people that I know in our community and like the more underground scene would be like, oh man, yeah, I'd love to go see like Jay Carter, like catch up, whatever, and same with Koji. And like, oh no way, like all three of those guys in the lineup, like it just kind of invites people in the community to be like, oh, let's all hang out and catch up and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a really nice way of looking at it.
Yeah.
It's sort of like factoring in a sort of, okay, like how can we give the sort of people what we think they would want, but also, aligning it a little bit from a marketing perspective, I suppose. Yeah,
exactly. And I think also we also just wanted to showcase the like amazing talent. Yeah. So I was like, there's so many amazing DJs I know in the underground scene who, yeah, they're respected and like killing it, whatever, Rinse residents, but like to be able to be like, right, we've got an opportunity to put them on a lineup with Ronnie Size and DJ Q, like let's get them on. Like we really want to showcase what the talent that has. Yeah.
That's sick, man. No, I find it really interesting. You touched on it very briefly, but what can you tell me about your approach when you're selecting a space?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because we were trying to make something like a unique experience. The part 3 we did last year, we did it in a tunnel archway in South Bermondsey. The whole space was just wicked. It had an amazing courtyard as well. It poured out into this really cool courtyard that was like covered with loads of plants and stuff. Went for like a day summer party, but the main issue is with those kind of venues is like the sound quality because it's like they're not built for it. So part 3 sounded amazing. We got a really good AV company in, and also we were trying to like, yeah, it's cool to throw a thing in a tunnel, but like, how do we highlight this building? How do we like really emphasize the structure and stuff? And for that archway, we just had this kind of square framed lighting rig just at the end, like just behind the DJ.
Yeah.
And it created this amazing tunnel effect. You felt like you were just like
sick.
going, I don't know, I almost felt like you're driving through a tunnel or something with the lights.
Yeah.
But when we got to like part 4 in the warehouse, this Dockland warehouse, which is this incredible building, we were like, no lights behind the DJs. We just want to highlight the structure and the building.
Yeah.
And like just people to just be like immersed in the space as opposed to like focusing on the DJ. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's like the venues did have to think about sound, and we did have to think about how like the lighting rig and everything, and how it's going to feel and how it's going to project. But yeah.
It sounds like you put like a load of thought into like really small details, so I'm sold.
Yeah, it was an intense like 3 or 4 months build to it.
One thing, so this might be rubbish, but one thing I did want to ask you, this is like, so I've met independent promoters on nights out and stuff like that, and one of the things that I hear when I've like spoken to these people is that putting your own events on isn't amazingly sustainable from the business perspective side of things. A lot of these people who I've spoken to, they do it for the love of it, but they say you're really lucky to break even. I don't know if that's an accurate reflection of what the scene's like. I don't know if you share that opinion, but do you think anything needs to change or could change in the scene to make it better?
Yeah,
for the promoters.
Yeah, definitely. I think it also depends what you're trying to do. Like these, so I was just kind of brought on just to help out with the London sound. I use my connections, but like these guys are the main guys who've been like fronting it and had the vision. So I think for them, they wanted to do something on a big scale, which I like really respected. But when you're trying to do it on a bigger scale, like you're definitely going to have some challenges, like financially and stuff, because it's like you're trying to build a brand. Like a lot of the kind of grassroots smaller nights that could just naturally grow in size, I think they're way more sustainable.
Yeah.
Like Dusty Dan throws these nights just by himself and Dawson Den, a small venue, and it's just like every time packed out.
Yeah.
And he's built a wicked energy and brand around it, and now moved on to like bigger venues. And I think, so it depends your approach, but saying that, like, the cost of living crisis definitely had a huge impact. I think especially like people should have less money to spend on a night, so they want to make sure it's guaranteed to be a good night. So they're way like less likely to take risks on going to new things. And, like we found that as well. This trying to build trust in people to be like, come to this new space no one's ever thrown an event in.
Yeah.
Because it's like the selling point's cool, but also just like if you know it's a Village Underground or Phonox or whatever, you're like, okay, guaranteed to be.
Yeah,
you know what you're expecting, exactly. So I think the cost of living's definitely made a huge impact. Also, just as a like DJ trying to break through, and also as someone who's been on the promotion side, like the promoter side, is like, well, it's harder to take risks on smaller DJs as well. Like we've had to spend money on bigger lineup in order to then give opportunities for like the up and coming DJs to come through. But like generally it's harder to take risks because you want to bring the names that you know people are going to be guaranteed to buy tickets for.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Very I don't know, it feels like a bit of an
from my personal experience and from people I've spoken to break even is a win.
Yeah.
Yeah, generally.
Fair enough.
But then the only thing I will say quickly is that like people do it for the love of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's important, right? I mean, it shouldn't be the most lucrative thing because it'll be attracting the wrong type of people to put these events on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Interesting one for sure. But yeah, so you've got London Sound, and another project of yours that I wanted to quickly touch on was SSEM Mixing.
Yeah.
Can you just give me like a brief overview of what it is, what it's about?
Yeah, so I've been working with Lawrence Hart for the past, I think it's 2+ years now, kind of engineering in the studio and assisting and stuff. And he got into a new space about last year or so.
Yeah.
Amazing space, so well treated, and his mixing and production just improved so quickly. Like it's already amazing, but like just that stepped up just from being in that new space and environment.
Yeah.
And I was learning a lot as well with him. And then we're like, why don't we offer mixing services, our production services? So we started that, but like by the time you get to feedback and invoicing, it's a long process. So from that, we actually decided to start our own sample pack platform where we use Patreon. But the concept is he has a crazy array of every analog synth you could possibly want. And we were like, we've got all this amazing equipment about, like, why don't we like just sample it, make some samples for people to use in their tracks and stuff.
Yeah.
I think we had also naturally started to build up our own sample libraries for producing and found that so useful. So we thought, like, why don't we do the same and give it out to people? So that kind of stemmed from that, and the concept originally was to do like a pack a week.
Okay.
And we've gone through various different kind of formats of what the pack should be. Tried more like utilitarian, so just literally like some drum loops and one shots, to like actually writing small ideas and giving people, and then we kind of combine the two together. So every week you'll get like a song idea, like 30-second loop.
Okay, so like the pack will be sort of all together. It will be
so we actually have a whole folder system as well. So we've got like a main folder system that's categorized into drums, vocals, effects, bass, melodic. And every time you download a pack, you just drag it in and it sorts it out into the folders automatically for you.
Amazing. So
then we have loops and one shots, and then basically so we'll make like a 30-second. We'll just start it off by making a 30-second song idea, and then within that, we will give away each individual stems of each drum layer, so hi-hat, claps, give you the one shots as well, and then also we've done it throughout, to be fair, but we sample. He's got like a Moog 1 synthesizer, so we'll sample like 4 octaves.
Amazing.
Like each note for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And then we'll drag that into an Ableton sampler instrument, and then we'll give that in the pack.
That's
and
sick.
Then also we'll give the MIDI as well. So you just get everything. So not only are you just getting the MIDI, but like you're getting the actual sound, like an actual analog synthesizer as well. So and royalty-free vocal samples as well. So we just wanted to try and give out like something that people can just like start an idea off straight away, and also build up a library of like just samples and loops and stuff.
Really interesting, man. Like it sounds like you got all bases covered, and you're like providing something which is really valuable.
Yeah.
You must like make an idea every now and then, and you're like, no, I'm gonna put that aside.
Yeah,
for myself.
there's something I'm like, okay, no, this is too good.
This sounds like me. I want to like.
Yeah, I think I think the fun thing is as well is like it's a different approach to writing, because I'm not writing it for myself.
My next question was literally on that. Is do you think there's a change in mentality, or does it feel different psychologically when you're working on things intended for other people?
Yeah, there's way less stressful, I feel like.
Yeah.
There's definitely less. I think less. I guess emotion is the word. Less emotion involved in it. You can be really clinical about it because you're not emotionally invested in it. It's not your track.
Yeah.
And I think I always think that's a really useful tool for anyone who makes music solo. Is like use other people, like get their opinion, like trust yourself and what you're making. But sometimes it's good to just get someone in to just be like, I think you should get rid of that. Yeah. And you're like, okay, cool, try it out.
I mean, everyone gets it, don't they? They sort of like a friend sends you a track, you listen to it, and you're like, you can see a lot clearly. You play your track in front of a person, like your track, and then suddenly you hear like that snare, like
that thing's exactly.
There, and it's just
starts
like
everything.
That's not there.
Yeah, exactly.
As much as you think it is.
Oh yeah, 100%, definitely. I think, but yeah, with like mindset, I think it's like I really enjoy working on other people's music. I find it quite. It still satisfies me in terms of like the technical side of producing, but with less just kind of less pressure on it, I think. Yeah.
Sick. I mean, like the whole nature. A lot of from what I'm getting from you is collaboration. Like London Sound is very collaborative process. Project SSEM mixing. Is it SSEM mixing or SSEM samples? Or both. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You know, that's like very collaborative. And I think you mentioned beforehand as well, like something you thought would be quite cool to talk about was collaboration. So I suppose bit of an open one, but why is collaborating an important part of your process?
Yeah, I think I kind of got to a point where I was just getting a bit bored of what I was doing by myself, and a bit I don't know if bored or a bit uninspired for sure.
Yeah.
And just thinking like definitely going through like a lot of writer's block and just like not knowing what direction I wanted to take it in. And then I met Nadi last year. We're both DJing some party. And we got talking. She was like, "Oh yeah, just playing this like such a eclectic blend of music, and there's like a lot of this like South Asian dance music." And I was just like, "This is so like inspiring, interesting to me. Like what?"
Yeah.
Kind of speaking to her about that, and because she's from Bangladesh originally, and then yes, she was asked to started talking about producing. I was like, "Oh, you produce as well?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Have you put anything out?" She's like, "No, I'm just kind of still learning." And she sent me the tracks. I was like, "It's so sick!" Like,
Yeah.
this like these South Asian vocals over these like wonky bass. I was like, "This is like," and I haven't really heard anything like that before. She had such a unique style, like already, like it hadn't released anything, but straight away such a unique style. Anyway, so we got in the studio and did a 2-track EP together.
Yeah.
Like honestly, the first track we did in about 5 hours, like done, start to finish, just done.
I love sessions.
Yeah,
like that.
the same with the B side, like just done, like so quick. And then so that came out earlier this year, and then we're now working on it's finished 4-track EPs coming out soon.
Sick.
And I think it's just I think collaboration is so important because you just feed off someone's energy, and it's exciting, and it's like making music should be fun.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to not have fun when you're sitting in a room by yourself. And like I know all producers will admit this, but like when you make a sick track and you're gassed on it, like you will call people, you will send it about.
Yeah.
You're sitting in there, you're like, oh, like I need to call someone about it. But like when you're sitting in the room with someone, you feed off that energy and you bounce off of each other, and you just like just create some special moments. And I think like what's really I think when me and Nadi wrote this EP earlier this year, we were both going through a bit of like our lives were a bit chaotic at the time, and like it was really amazing to see how that emotion, like we're all good now. We're like looking back at it, like it's really it's like a really sweet moment to see like us two coming together and both using this these writing sessions as just a way to like try and escape for a sec.
Yeah.
And what that created, and that's just something you can't replicate just by yourself. Do you know what I mean?
That's really nice, actually. I imagine that music to you is a little snapshot of that moment in time, and you can sort of hear in the way that music is. Yeah,
from both of us. Like we could both, and because we're really close friends now because of it.
Yeah.
This whole thing, we've become really tight, and like it's it's like that's very special to us, and to share that with someone as well. I think it's just
That's really cool, man. The reason I start, like when I do these interviews, the reason I start asking people about their like earliest memories in music is because everyone's coming from a unique place.
Sure.
There may be like certain similarities, but it's not exactly the same. If you were to jump in a studio with a person who has exactly the same experiences and perspectives of you, it wouldn't be like a collaboration. So the reason I start there is because everyone has had these unique experiences that built them as a person, and they see music in a certain way.
Yeah.
And then, as you say, when you get to collaborate, those sort of things get to bounce off one another.
Yeah.
And I think collaboration can be like a two-sided coin.
It doesn't always work.
No, well, it might not always work, but that's okay. You
of course,
go away with it with an experience, and
and you've picked
find
up
out
and
where
stuff,
like
for sure.
something went wrong or something like that. But in terms of, it's a two-sided coin because the first side of it, they will influence you, and like most people, there's like a very obvious one, like they influence you because they've got a different perspective, and that's new to you. So it's refreshing, and it can create inspiration. But you don't consider the reverse applies, which is you're different to them, and you're influencing the way they approach their production, they're not staying the same as they would if they were alone in their room producing, would they?
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, yeah, it's a really like cool and valuable process, I think, for all producers to like try and collaborate.
Yeah, definitely. Like I would strongly recommend. Like my next two releases are collaborations. I think I've done maybe 5 or 6 different artists I've collaborated with this year, just because it's just been very inspiring for me. And I think again, as I said, like I think as you're progressing through, as you start to build like more of a reputation and start to build, like slowly build up more and more success in different areas, like like to be able to have fun, like it gets harder and harder because you're just there's a lot of pressure, a lot of other factors that come into play. But like just to collaborate and have fun with it. I think always searching just to be able to have fun and enjoy it. And I think
no, I agree. I think that's really important. I think, as you said, it's very easy to lose sight of the reasons why we do the things we do.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like, so when you're an 18-year-old or 16-year-old producer, that's a very pure time because it's like you and the craft.
Yeah.
And you're enjoying it because you enjoy it. And maybe if you grow as an artist, other factors, like it's impossible to avoid those factors. You know, if you get bigger, maybe you have deadlines with labels and you have financial reliability on that. And
of course, yeah.
I think it's impossible not to partially lose sight of the purer reasons. But I don't know where I was going with that. I was just
No, I agree completely, yeah.
So we know that, I know that collaboration has held a sort of place in your process at the moment. I want to finish on talking about creative processes and creative approaches in general.
Sure.
It's an open one to begin with, but when do you feel most creative?
Like first thing in the morning, as soon as I wake up, I want to get into the studio. I'll try and I'll go for a walk, go get a coffee. It's always good to have a bit of interaction in the day before you just like lock yourself away. But used to always listen to music, but recently I've just been like not listening to music when I'm walking about everywhere, and just my
enjoying
brain
the soundscapes and stuff.
Yeah, enjoying just the sounds of the city and people walking about. And I think I've started to do that more and more. So like in the morning, I would just go get a coffee, go and have a little interaction. No music, just go straight in. And I think it's just the first thing that just comes out your brain is so fresh.
Yeah.
I know some people like to work at night, but I just like that pure focus and energy that comes in the morning. Yeah.
I feel like when I work at night, it's because I've procrastinated all day, and then I'm going into the studio with negative emotions because
you've been procrastinating.
Yeah, because I've been procrastinating. So I feel like I do produce at night, but not because I want to, because I'm mad at myself.
You're just trying to redeem the day.
Yeah. What are some of your go-to activities to recharge?
I say, because we were just talking about it on the way up here, but like going to We Out Here, going to a festival. I think also, again, when you're doing it, when like you get to a point where like your life is so focused on music and making music and performing and whatever, it's so hard to get your head out of it. And I think it's hard to find ways to really get your head out of it. People have different things, but also just to like, for me, like this weekend that We Out Here, like just kind of fell in love with music again, just as a fan. And it's so easy to constantly be like critical and analytical about music when you see it, or like because you're like, I don't know, maybe trying to even just from like a learning perspective, or your brain just is going to dissect things naturally because that's just how your brain is function like day to day. But like just to be able to go to a space and just like enjoy the music and not think about it.
Yeah,
I think is I mean that's recharging, is like just like enjoying just listening to music without there being other aspect to it than you just enjoying
Yeah.
music. Like the main reason you started this whole process in the first place was just because you just loved music. Like just go and try and find that again for sure.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, you touched on it very quickly there as well, but one of my questions was, does the fact that this is your job ever have an influence on your relationship with making music?
Yeah, all the time, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, like, I suppose, how do you navigate that?
That's a tricky one because it's like, if there's a right way to navigate it, it's a hard one to navigate. Because also, like, if you want to get to a point where you're releasing music with the labels you want to release with and all those things, all the kind of benchmarks you're trying to reach, is like, you're going to have to not love it at some points. It's work. You're going to have to push through those things. And by the time a release is finished, I've had releases I finished, and by the time I release it, I'm like, I just don't even know what I feel about this anymore, because you've just been so involved in it. And that comes different. Like when you release it and see the response, you have a new love and energy for it. It lives in a different space. But I think, yeah, like it's not, you're going to have to push through. There's going to be times you don't enjoy it, you don't like it. But saying that, there's also, again, what I keep saying about like trying to enjoy it and have fun with it again, which is, it's so hard to do. Like I struggle with it all the time. Yeah. And I definitely, like even recently, I've been going through a big writer's block. And it's also like been, like how to navigate is also just being like, it's time to step away. Yeah. Because you just, A, you love it, so you feel like you want to do it all the time, but also B, like it's so hard to be like, it's addictive, and like you can't, you're kind of like at points a bit nervous to step away because you don't feel like you're doing enough. There's all these kind of thoughts where it's like, actually you need to just be like, just live your life. Like just like, so this, like the last couple of months I haven't even really been posting on social media. It's like, you know what, I need to just clear my head, man, and just like reset and take some space. And
no, I can really resonate with that actually. And personally, like I've gone through really extended periods where I haven't enjoyed producing. Yeah. And it took me a while to realize that the reasons why I enjoyed producing or DJing or whatever, you know, they weren't in the picture anymore. And it was, I'm stressed that I haven't, like, I don't know, posted on social media, or I haven't made a track in a month. And now it's 2 months, and now it's 3 months. And it's like,
the nerves start creeping in.
Why are you getting like stressed about all this stuff? So I don't know. I think I mean, I'm still kind of going through it a little bit, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I'm in the exact same position, and I think I'm in the exact same position. Like I've been very uninspired, like the last, like I'd say, except from finishing this release with Nadi. The last 3 or 4 months, I just haven't made anything that I'm genuinely. There's stuff that is cool and interesting, but nothing that I'm like feel a certain attachment to. But also, again, like I guess when you think about those early things that inspired you, there's certain key moments of like some event you went to go see some DJ, like just go do that. I just don't think about it. Yeah, like just go live your life. People forget to just like live. Do you know 100%. What I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's really hard. It's really easy to sort of lose sight of it, and you know, sometimes you just have to recenter on the things that led you to the starting point. Yeah. It can be a complicated one for sure.
I've even had it with like when you're like a busy DJ schedule, you're like, I don't need to go out and socialize because like I'm about to go play this gig. Yeah. Like, I don't need it, but I'm like, yeah, but
those are different things.
It's stressful. You're working on it. Like you're gonna have nerves before set, no matter what. You can't really enjoy the night until after the set. So like, just for me to go to, I had like loads of people I know playing. We out here. Someone was playing on Sunday, and I was like, man, I feel for you. The whole festival, that's just always there. You can't fully relax. Yeah. And like just to be like, nah, like just go be a punter. Just go enjoy it. Like,
yeah. Matteo might have some thoughts on that. He's just been running a couple of festivals. Yeah, I mean, so I think what I was trying to say before as well is because I realized that, okay, I'm losing sight of the important things. I think it's good to have techniques which re-highlight that. Yeah. So I started doing something quite recently where I delete the project, and that helps me. So I'll do 2-3 hours or whatever, and before I start an idea, I'll say like, no matter what, like if I love it or whatever, I'll delete it.
Interesting.
And it's a bit silly, but it kind of works because
What if you love it? You still
I've
delete
liked,
it?
no, if I, because I've said to myself, I'm going to delete it. And the point isn't like, the reason I do that is it's not about making an amazing track. It's about falling back in love with the process.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've been doing that recently, and it works in a weird way.
That's interesting. I might try it. I'd be too nervous to delete it though.
Yeah.
I think
I think you have to make a commitment to yourself, saying like, no matter what, I'm going to delete it, because it's not about like the track; it's about the process.
Yeah,
it's not about the end goal, so to speak. It's about the journey.
Yeah, I think also as well, like when you're, like if you like when I was playing guitar, like you could just sit in your room and just play guitar, just for hours and not think about. You won't think. You just like you're not even recording it. You're just playing. Whereas when you're like producing, it's like there's definitely they're so formatted and structured and everything's there. Like you're not just like, you don't just sit and like program a drum beat for like 5 hours because it's fun. Do you know what I mean? But I think that's why I love using analog synths and stuff, because they're playful. You can play with them. There's like
it's tangible, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
out
I think
of the box.
Yeah, and like the Juniper EP I did, Juniper and Zinnia, the whole EP was basic. Like I think I might have used one other synth for like some pads, but otherwise it's all used, every sound, all the melodic sounds are just using one synth. I got the ARP 2600. I didn't even know how to use it when I wrote the tracks. Yeah, I was just me messing around with it, and that's that kind of purity of just like me messing about. I wasn't thinking. As again, I'm not thinking about it.
And limitations as well.
Yeah,
you can only work using one thing. I hear loads of people talk about like work within. Enforced
100%, yeah, and it creates really interesting outcomes. And it also, like me and Nadia IP is very focused about sampling South Asian vocals and like instruments and sounds. Yeah. So when you've got that as a premise to be like every track we started by like let's find a cool sample, and then like straight away you've got something that you can just like vibe off. Yeah,
that's really cool, man. Coming a little bit out of the deepness, have you got any cool production tips that you're enjoying right now?
Yeah, you can. I'm not trying to plug it, but you can find it on the SSEM Instagram. But
you can plug it. That's cool.
Yeah, I can't remember what the actual page is called.
SSEM.
It's SSEM mixing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should know that. But yeah, my favorite thing at the moment, I guess, because we've been using Ableton Sampler, because we've been trying to make it as accessible as possible. So like that, every song idea, like you can have the sound and the MIDI and be able to manipulate the sounds and mess with them. But through that, my favorite technique at the moment, especially with like the UK-based garage scene, like that whole energy is like if you just record a one-shot bass note for like 20 seconds, normally something with like interesting texture, kind of like almost like a Reese bass, that kind of like sound. And then if you drag that into the sampler, and then you can add an oscillator. Okay. And if you change the oscillator from sine to noise, and change the course up all the way, like it has this incredible texture. Yeah. And you can, and like the noise tunes up with the notes, so every note has a slightly different, like frequency in the noise. Yeah. And
I bet it probably has a different texture as well.
Yeah.
It's in a different frequency.
And also, especially if you have analog synths, like to be able to have the actual analog warmth and sound as the sample, and then be able to manipulate it using VSTs. You can just like the whole sampler thing is just like using the noise and using LFOs. Like you can just create like that. Like so what like the tutorial I did is kind of like a mimic of like Joy Orbison's Flight FM. Like just those textures, the synths just seem, I don't know. It's just that kind of, it's like merging digital and analog together. Yeah. Just creates these like crazy textures for bass. Yeah.
That's really cool. And you just sort of use that as like a song starter, just to like jump from the textures, like a bit of
and also like sending an LFO. You can either automate the noise or send an LFO. Okay. I think just when you're making that kind of like bass focused music, like you want to try and build as much interest and movement in the bass. And like actually to still use an analog sample and then drag it in and then add these different textures. it's like a really easy technique, but like just try it like that. It sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's sick. Yeah, I'm gonna try that out.
Yeah, try it out.
Right, final one, and we'll end there. But it gets deep again. But if you had some advice for someone who's nervous about putting themselves out there and, you know, any creative pursuit, what advice would you give them?
I was thinking about this one because you obviously like sent some ideas of what the questions might be, and like just do it. And I know that's like telling someone who's anxious not to worry, but like if you there's so many like I've just always been amazed at the response things get when they're put out. And like not everything's going to get a response, but like I think like I give you an example of like a track I put out a couple of years ago with Lawrence Hart. Okay. We did this 2 EP, Drift and Crush, and like at the time, like obviously thought a lot of the release, but like maybe like now I probably want to put it out. And saying that like it lived in a world that I wasn't sure like who would play it or what like it had different like break beats and like different, like I could see it living in certain spaces, but I just wasn't sure like who would play it. Like I've never played it out. But saying that like you never know where it's going to hit or what the response is going to be. So it's like I think you like as long as you believe that it's a strong idea, no matter what space you feel like it fits in, like there'll be someone out there who will resonate with it or relate to it.
Yeah.
And I think like that, I was at We Out Here and some DJ played that track like at like 11 p.m. on the Rhythm Corner big stage, and I was just like, this is crazy because
that would
like
have been really nice.
Yeah, it was a mad moment and it made me realize like there's ideas you might not think for whatever reasons are right or you like, but like just get it out to people and see what happens.
Yeah.
And like don't be afraid of like, oh, maybe I'm don't fully back this release. Or it's like if it sounded good and there's some other people around you saying it's good, like just put it out. And I think putting yourself out there and get used to rejection. Yeah. And it's not a big deal. Like it's fun.
Yeah, I mean failure doesn't sting as much as you think it does, right?
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, like I'm still like, what? I forget the rejection, but like you just have to. Yeah, I think when my first track came out and then I just saw all the DJs I love like being like, oh, sick track. I was like, what? This is crazy. Like I didn't realize that I could make something and put it out and get that response. And it's like, yeah, just it's not like just because you might not think it's good enough for whatever reasons, like it's going to resonate with people. Like it's not about, I think, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one because it's like everyone has those.
No, dude, I feel like you articulated it really well.
I think also like going back to like, I think it's really important to build a good network around you of people you trust. Yeah. So like for me, like my cousin was into house music before it was even cool back in the 2000s. Like I remember him saying like he used to play house music and his mates be like, what is this? And like his taste in music is one of the best I know. So I've always sent him music. And that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be a label.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You don't have to have like crazy contacts with some sick label to like get feedback. Like just your mates around you or the people that you fell like love with music. Like use those people. And because I remember sending them tracks. He'd be like, oh, that's cool. Send them tracks, that's cool. I keep going. And then like, I don't know, 50 tracks in, he was like, this is wicked. I was like, that's sick. Okay, this is actually good. And like even just that can just build your confidence in what you're doing and also understand what's working. And then saying that, like labels are also just, it is useful. And like also, don't get me wrong though, like I've got tracks I've sent out to labels I've already released with and they're like, it's just not our vibe. And I'm like, okay, but I really believe in this track. So like, there's a balance between also like believing and understanding how belief in yourself, but saying that also sometimes labels, like my Scuffed release, I didn't want to release You, the B-side. I was like, I really like Res, but I'm just not really feeling this. So I wrote another track, sent it to them, they're like we want to release You. Yeah. And that did really well. And it's just like, that, as I said, it doesn't have to come from labels, but just to have someone to be like, this is cool, is important.
Yeah.
I think that answered it.
No.
Did that answer it?
Answered it 10 times.
Okay,
mate.
good.
It was
All
great.
right. Cool.
Yeah, dude, thank you so much for coming down and like
Mate,
giving
it's
your
been a
time
pleasure,
and
man.
chat. No, honestly, pleasure's all mine. Quick, well, not quick, but do you have anything basically you want to plug, and then we'll get into the mix?
I guess just keep an eye out for mine and Nadi's release coming out. It's one of my favorite releases to date, for sure.
Has it got a name? Or we not?
It's called Freefall.
Okay.
It's a 4-track EP.
Yeah.
The first track's just like kind of smooth speed garage.
Yeah.
Second track's kind of like a Jersey club thing. Third track's just like dubstep, and then the fourth track's quite like a down tempo emotional breakbeat.
Yeah.
But as I said, it captured a special time for us, so we're excited to see the response. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited to hear it actually, mate. Yeah.
Sick.
Sick. Up next we got Otus.
my shirt on. Put on my pants on, put on my shirt on. Pick it up and ready for rockin', zip, 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 zip. Put on my pants on, put on my shirt on. Pick it up and ready for rockin', zip, 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 zip. Put on my pants on, put on my shirt on. Pick it up and ready for rockin', zip. Put on my pants on, put on my shirt on. Man, they crowd, that's why me sweet. Put on my pants on, put on my shirt on. Pick it up and ready for rockin', zip. Put on my pants on, put on my shirt on. Man, they crowd, that's why me sweet. I'm a jack up on the back, me and the ruler in the black, but the back white. Yeah, thing in a ram, they don't stop. Make them know say on the gentleman, got the boom, shock attack. Up white, yeah, thing me send them down and down. What they do? Put on my pants on, put on my shirt on. Pick it up and ready for rockin', zip. Put on my pants on, put on my shirt on. Man, they crowd, that's why me sweet. I'm a put on my pants on, put on my shirt on. Pick it up and ready for rockin', zip. Put on my pants on, put on my shirt on. Man, they crowd, that's why me sweet. I'm a jack up on the back, me and the ruler in the black, but the back white. Yeah, thing in a ram, they don't stop. Make them know say on the gentleman, got the boom, shock attack. Up white, yeah, thing me send them down and down. What they do? Put on my pants on, put on my shirt on. Pick it up and ready for rockin', zip, 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 zip. Put on my pants on, put on my shirt on. Pick it up and ready for rockin', zip, 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 zip. Put on my pants on, put on my shirt on. Pick it up and ready for rockin', zip, 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 zip. Put on my pants on, put on my shirt on.
Keep it locked. This is Mode London.